Right on cue. Owen Shroyer, the Onion has allegedly bought out the assets of InfoWars through the bankruptcy proceedings in the absence of any court order authorizing it, with the backing of the Sandy Hook families. Dude, may I ask where you are?
I am in a undisclosed location.
Well, you're looking good, Owen. You always look good. If you look younger than ever, I don't know, like undue incarceration might actually take some years off a man who can deal with it. How are you doing in general?
I'm good. We've been through a lot at InfoWars, and so you kind of get used to the beatings that you take. I've taken a lot of beatings over the years, dealt with a lot over the years, censorship, persecution. You kind of become a veteran, if you will. You kind of become a veteran, definitely a veteran in the info war, but everything that comes along with it. I've always taken my health very seriously. It's always been an advantage, I think, when you can maintain good health. It's easier to, kind of maintain stress levels, I think, and it's a good outlet. So I've been blessed to kind of always been good with health decisions, and it helps me relieve stress. It's funny, I was at the gym doing some heavy lifting when I got the news, and I immediately went into the studio. So, when I look at everything, I really believe it's all part of God's plan. I don't talk too much about my faith or religious beliefs on the air much, because my show is for everybody and it's not really a religious or spiritual type show. But I've given the stress and everything up to God a long time ago. I believe it's all part of God's plan, and it's a big relief when you can do that. I think what's really sad about this, because we've been dealing with the terminal illness, the cancer that's wanted to shut down InfoWars and kill InfoWars and Alex Jones for a long time. I think that the story here is how corrupt our justice system is. It's the old cliche of show me the man and I'll find the crime. And if they have the desire at the basic level, if the American left, and that's what we're dealing with. This is the easiest way to put it. If the American left has the desire, and we know they have the will, to shut you down, to imprison you, to take everything that you own, they will do it. And that's the story that everybody needs to learn from this. Alex is still on air right now. You can never replace what they did with InfoWars. I mean, you can never rebuild what Alex built. You can, we'll have to regroup and reshuffle and find the audience and get everything back in line, and that will take time, but we've been through that before as well, dealing with censorship. Really, this is just the latest example, and maybe the greatest example when it comes to free speech, of this is what they will do. They will literally shut down your news network if they don't like what you do. And to juxtapose that with what's going on at CNN and MSNBC right now, that's an organic failure. They failed organically. They failed their audience. They lost their audience. They failed organically because they were no good. We were shut down synthetically. We got brought down with lawfare. And so it's amazing to see that juxtaposition and both things happening at the same time. But no doubt today will be a fateful day in First Amendment history, and obviously when it comes to the InfoWars legacy.
I was listening to Alex before going live, which was part of the other reason why I started a bit late, just to see if we could get the facts straight. We've been covering the bankruptcy, the attempt to shut down the InfoWars studio since I was in a hotel. I forget where it was, where it happened a few months ago, or at least maybe over the summer. What happened as a matter of fact? Because they've tried this before. There was the authorization to start selling off the assets, I think, from the judge, which was supposed to take place, give or take, in November. You had no knowledge of the Onion placing a bid to buy out the assets in bankruptcy backed by some of the Sandy Hook families before this happened, or did you?
I want to be careful here. I've always left this up to Alex to talk about, just because I don't want to get anything wrong. It's not my story to tell, if you will. It was always my understanding, based off of the legal documents that are publicly available, that they had the online bid, and then that would move into the next phase of maybe more of an official auction. The whole trustee's job in a case like this is to get the best deal for the plaintiffs. And so that's why they're saying, well, we don't have to necessarily take the highest bidder. And there's a bunch of technicalities, legalese you can get into with that. But I guess whatever the deal that was offered by the Onion was, I guess the trustee said, nothing's going to get better than this. Basically an offer for, I guess, the entire package. Some of the details are still unknown to us. But so I guess it was such a good job, or such a good offer, they just said, okay, we're not going to get better than this. Here you go. Then I guess it was up to the Onion, or whatever the parent company of the Onion was, to say, we want somebody to take custody over InfoWars ASAP. And I guess that's why they decided to come in and essentially shut down whatever was under the umbrella of InfoWars immediately. As far as I can tell, that's all accurate. I don't know. I don't like getting into the legal stuff. I just tell people, go listen to Alex, and he'll tell you the story of what's going on.
No, that is definitely. I mean, it's close enough to my understanding as well. I just didn't. First of all, people are saying if Jeff Clark, one of the other lawyers here, says if they didn't accept the highest offer, that could be in breach of their fiduciary obligations to get the best deal. This is not a complicated equation. There's a $1.5 billion judgment. What is it likely to get the plaintiffs the most execution of the judgment? Is it selling it at pennies on the dollar, or even allowing InfoWars to continue operating so they could continue making money, so they could continue paying any award that they might ultimately be ordered to pay? The big question is whether or not this even gets overturned in appeal, and then all of this is for naught. Well, tough nuggets, it's already been done, and InfoWars is down. The studio is shut, and your guys are locked out?
No, as far as I know, I can still, in fact, I plan to go get personal belongings later this afternoon. I can still get access with my key to get in there. What has happened is the technical aspects that allow us to broadcast to Rumble, to the InfoWars network, to Band.video, those technical assets have been turned off. Now, I'm not in the tech end of these things, obviously. So basically, whatever switches that they could turn off to shut off Band and anything kind of under that InfoWars proprietary umbrella and the Rumble channel, I guess, they were able to just flip those switches. Now, Alex still has access to his personal social media account. He started other social media accounts. There might be a Rumble channel, but I don't know for sure. I know he's on the AJ Network, whatever is under that umbrella. I know the X account, AJ Network, is there, and Real Alex Jones is live as far as I can tell as well. But I think it was just a couple switches that they have claimed custody over. You maybe even might know better as far as the legal aspects of this are concerned, of what it takes to get that custody, a judge's orders, or if when the auction is concluded and the trustee basically hands them the deed, essentially it's their house. I don't know the legal aspects.
I would have thought that it required a formal judge's approval before execution. So I would presume either that approval is there, or they're actually doing this in prior to any written order confirming the transfer of assets. My underlying legal query in all of this, and I think it's the same ones American attorneys with experience are saying, seems to be confirmation that the goal was never to compensate the families for any actual injury. It was to shut Alex Jones down and shut InfoWars down, and to try to prevent him from being able to reestablish under another company name or under another header. Did you hear or read the Onion's explanation as to why they did this?
No, I did not.
Okay.
It's funny, and I'll just say this, and I'll let you get into it. You'll be scooping me here. It's funny. Is satire on top of satire reality now? Is that what we're dealing with, Viva? Because, there's atrazine in the chemicals turning the frogs gay, so that's real. But if the Onion publishes it as satire at their satire website, it's kind of like two negatives equal a positive, right? So it's like double satire equals reality now. Are they going to try to bring back the failed show that they did years ago? I think it was with Jordan Klepper that lasted like a month. They're trying to fake Alex Jones with a guy. I think it was called Buck Jones or something like that. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't read that story. Maybe some of the answers are in there.
Let me bring it up. I won't go through the whole thing, but it's like, you're right. I don't know if it's reality or satire on satire. Here's why I decided to buy InfoWars. And I mean, you'll get the gist of where it's going. I followed this guy and asked him to come on, at some point. His name is Tetrader. Oh, that's such a nomen es omen. Today, we celebrate the new addition of the global tetrahedron LLC family. All told, the decision to acquire InfoWars was an easy one. Founded in 1999 on the heels of the satanic panic, and growing steadily ever since, InfoWars has distinguished itself as an invaluable tool for brainwashing and controlling the masses. With a shrewd mix of delusional paranoia and dubious anti-aging nutrition hacks, they strive to make life both scarier and longer for everyone, a commendable goal. They are a true unicorn, capable of simultaneously inspiring public support of billionaires and stoking outrage at an inept federal state that can assassinate JFK but can't put a man on the moon. It goes on like this. And I read it, and I still don't know why they bought it, and I don't know what their plan is, if not just to try to tarnish the brand that is InfoWars, to make it into a not funny satire, so that the memory of the history is somehow tarnished and tainted by the present going forward.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. People might have to see it in practice to understand exactly what you're saying. Here's a lesser example, and that would be the Drudge Report. Matt Drudge sold the Drudge Report years ago. Many people don't know that, and I think it was more under the table. It wasn't a big public spectacle like what happened with InfoWars, obviously. So they see the Drudge now, and they're like, Drudge sold out. No, I don't think Drudge has nothing to do with it anymore. It's kind of a similar situation, I think, where maybe they'll just think that people who don't know what's going on, don't know anything about the sale or the shutdown of InfoWars or the lawsuits will just see it and just be like, oh, this is InfoWars now, or this is Alex Jones now. They've lost their mind. Trying to take this from a neutral perspective, because I would ask myself before, like, there is no value in InfoWars without Alex Jones.
It's not to say it's worthless. It's in what we call an intuiti persona entity. Like if you want a lawyer and you want, let's just say, Norm Pattis. Well, not any lawyer is going to be worth what you'd pay for Norm Pattis. InfoWars cannot be separated from Alex Jones. To say it has any value without the principal Alex Jones is to live a lie. I mean, it will be worth zero, but that's the point.
You know, I'd like to think highly of myself, and I do good work, but I mean, I couldn't make InfoWars live. I could never do what Alex did at InfoWars. So it's like, even if there was some sort of, like, I'm just saying, like, even if I was like some sort of a left behind on the island, like, keep it running, it wouldn't work. You can't do, I wouldn't do it anyway, but you couldn't. You can't do InfoWars without Alex Jones. So, you know, heading into this, I'm thinking, well, it's a bit of a paradox, right? Because, and, you know, a lot of this comes down to the plaintiffs, and I haven't really, you know, they don't seem to say much at all. So I don't know what, you know, I don't know what's going through their mind or what their involvement in this process is. The lawyers have been very outspoken. I mean, they haven't minced words at all. They've said this is about shutting down InfoWars, which, you know, seems to be an ethical problem. Is this about shutting down InfoWars, or is this about getting the plaintiffs taken care of? They don't really, that's a whole nother thing. I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, well, this is a paradox. There is no InfoWars without Alex Jones. You can sell it for, you know, scrap and sell some of the parts inside, and people can repurpose that. And there's, you know, maybe some monetary value there. Definitely not 7 figures. I mean, there's expensive studio equipment that you can resell, but it's not probably 7 figures worth.
What I think that they're trying to do really is turn the InfoWars prior to this date, if this actually, you know, goes forward, into satire, into parody. And so no one's ever going to look back. No one will even, as a going forward memory, say anything that occurred on InfoWars was actually more accurate than CNN. They'll only regard it as the Onion level parody stupidity, and thus try to erase the history while silencing Alex Jones, because this was never about compensating the families for anything. It was about shutting Alex Jones up.